Pepper says, I'm going to take a little snooze while my mommy shares her heart with all of you. Hello everyone and welcome back to A Hoarder's Heart. On this episode, we're going to be doing a Hoarder Reacts to The Minimalist. This is a series that I've been wanting to do for a very long time because there's a lot of conversations out there about hoarding and what is understood, and I just want to add to the conversation and go a little deeper than the surface conversations that I seem to be seeing. Now for this episode, I'm actually reacting to a Rachel Cruz video that was interviewing the minimalists. The title of that video is 5 Surprising Signs That You're a Hoarder, and I do have the link in the description box below so that you can see it. Now, I want to also add that there is by no means me ever putting somebody down for what they may not know, right? I am not here to bash anyone. My reactions are coming from a thoughtful place to add to the conversation, to let somebody know how someone with hoarding disorder actually feels when they hear a conversation. I'm only speaking on behalf of that. I know that people don't understand our disorder, and I know that their intention is coming from a good place. They're not trying to hurt anyone, but I want to make sure that I explain that before we dive into this conversation. I will say that the Minimalist documentary was a huge influence in me starting to recover in my hoarding disorder. Before I started my YouTube channel, I remember watching the documentary on Netflix, I believe in 2017, because it just caught my eye of a story of 2 guys who were miserable in corporate world, right? And the continuous cycles of debt, and them going to this unfulfilling job to pay for the debt, to have said items to be part of this status quo, and that they got rid of all of it so that they could do something that they were passionate about, get out of debt, not have all this stuff to pay for, and that they could find careers that they were passionate about, and they follow through and let it all go. That was the part that influenced me, was that, how does that feel? I wonder how that feels to be able to let everything go and feel free. Because I myself, not that my job is hard by any means, but it wasn't my passion. It wasn't. I wanted to have the freedom to create as they did, explaining my hoarding disorder. But for me, it wasn't as easy as just throwing it all away. My point is that a hoarder can't just have a packing party and have people come over and pack it all up and take it away. We will literally have a mental breakdown. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. That would trigger a hoarder into a mental breakdown, whether it's alongside their anxiety, their depression, their PTSD. The recovery process is so much different. Now that we've talked about a little bit of that background, I really want to focus on this interview between Rachel Cruz and the Minimalists, the 5 signs that you're a hoarder. Because I do love them, I do look up to them. And when they were having the conversation, I was so appreciative that Josh was saying that, it is a mental disorder, and Ryan had said that, it's the inability to let go of excess stuff. And they really were explaining it true to what it is, and I was very appreciative of that. The part that triggered me to have a reaction was when Ryan was talking about he was a level 2 hoarder. Oh wow, I didn't know they struggled the way I struggled too. But when they started discussing the levels, and I know in the medical field that is, right, what's considered on the hoarding spectrum. For me, it's a measurement of how extreme your hoarding is and the condition of the homes. And when they were talking about something about a filled garage could be a level 3 hoarder, and that, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was a hoarder, and a little shocked about it, it hurt me. It hurt me because it made me feel that, with hoarding disorder, there's a lot of depression and there's a lot of anxiety and self-doubt alongside of it. So now, if these people are now considered hoarders based off of the level chart of 1 through 5, and they were easily able to let it go in a weekend, then what's wrong with me? The conclusion I came to is that there's nothing wrong with me. They're not hoarders. And I'm saying this in a loving way on behalf of every person who struggles with this mental disorder. You guys are not hoarders, don't worry. I feel that people, society now, kind of use the word hoarder a little too loosely. It's a mental disorder where we feel so isolated and alone because of the harsh judgment, and that to self-soothe the anxiety, the depression, the PTSD, we hoard things, right? It is a mental disorder, and that's what I really want to drive home. Now, I don't think their intentions by saying that they were a level 2 or, they were hoarders. I do not think their intention was malice. I think it was coming from a good place because they did their research. If the medical field is saying a level 1 and a level 5 hoarder, where are you falling in this category? Of course, anyone's going to look at it and be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was a hoarder. The difference is that how easily was it for you to let it go? Because if it was very easy for you to let it go and your nervous system was still regulated in check and you actually felt good about it, you're not a hoarder. You're not. It's like saying if I have 1 drink a week, right? And that there's some alcoholic scale and 1 drink a week is making me a level 1 alcoholic. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm an alcoholic. But for me to not have a drink for an entire year is the easiest thing for me to do because I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have that mental disorder. But the person who is the alcoholic or the person who is the hoarder, each and every day have to work and put a lot of energy into their sobriety, whether it's sobriety from alcohol or sobriety from their clutter. Like there's been things that I've thrown away, tried to throw away, that physically hurt my body. And I obsessed about it until I went out to the curb to bring it back in because I could not regulate myself, right? It wasn't until I brought the item back into the home that my body was like, oh, thank God I can regulate now, right? So if you don't have that type of a emotion or behavior attached to the stuff, you're not a hoarder. And what's today that I'm recording this, like April 22nd, 2023, right? I'm going to ask the medical therapy community, can we please add another scale to define hoarding disorder? And that scale looking like how easy is it for you to declutter to how hard is it for you to declutter. Defining a level 1 as I feel emotional attachment to it. I really have to talk myself through the item, but then I can eventually let it go. And this is applying to all items. This includes trash. This includes any item that is in your space, right? That would define a level 1, right? And then define the levels as it grows to, let's say, a level 5 could be, if I let this go, I will feel a full-blown panic attack. The alarms in my body are going to get set off. I can't self-regulate myself until the item comes back into my house so that I can self-soothe and feel good. And I have difficulty letting go of anything. That's the scale that I would love to add to define what hoarding disorder looks like, alongside the levels of how much stuff is in our homes. If I had a magic genie to make one wish, it would be that one, so that people who authentically have hoarding disorder don't feel like there's something wrong with them when someone is a level 3 hoarder and can let go of something like it was nothing. I would just love if the term wasn't used so loosely, because my fear is that the ones who do struggle with hoarding disorder, they're gonna suffer the most. And my heart can't, when you've experienced and lived through something, other people who live and experience what you go through, you don't want to see them hurt or go through that same pain. You want to be able to lift them up and let them know that it's okay. And it's okay that we have hoarding disorder. We're not horrible people. We're really, really good people. And I want to give you hope that we can indeed recover. It's just going to take us a little longer than everybody else, but it's okay. And it's worth it. So I just want to thank everyone who listened to me express my heart in a loving way. I really hope somehow this video reaches the minimalists or reaches Rachel Cruz, and just to have that authentic conversation with them. I am open to answer any question you have.